萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽。萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽。萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽。萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽。萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿克萨萨玛哈列圣悉地吽， 萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽，唵啊吽咕噜贝阿婆萨萨玛哈莲圣悉地吽。
阿弥陀佛，大家吉祥，早安。
Amitabha, good evening, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Extremely grateful to have this opportunity to have this class again with us all together. So I am DA Chiu Yun from Malaysia. So have you did your punch card today? So before class starts, let's all turn on our camera. Amitabha. So the MC is just saying hi to everyone that is online.
还有我们的释莲追教授师，阿弥陀佛。印尼莲花一宁，我们还有瑞士的莲花少敏，还有马来西亚的莲花秀娟助教，我们有我们的辅导员讲师，大家好，还有莲花伟盛，好
Many joining us today from various countries, as well as our facilitators are online as well.
那有释莲如教授师，还有我们的辅导员莲花国南助教，有可明师姐，有新加坡的玉校助教，还有我们的莲花万亮师兄，有我们美国的思文助教。那我们也看到了我们的会长已经上线，欢迎会
We
长。
also see our chairman coming online. So welcome our Chairman Master Cheng Zhu and thank him for accompanying us again on our learning journey today.
有我们的桂祥助教、辅导员莲花美娥助教，还有辅导员莲花秀庆助教，还有莲花国华师兄。那我
So
们
we see many from different countries, many Dharma brothers and sisters from various countries joining us today. Amidaba, good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone.
阿弥陀佛，有看到有几位讲师助教已经上线。那我们距离上课还有一个3
And we are just another 3 minutes away from the start of class. So a gentle reminder, after today's class, we will have a sharing session to promote a more proactive environment. So we hope that everyone will can share their experiences and their learning points today. So we all
不仅可以提高自己的表达能力，巩固。
So this session, because we know that learning is a two-way, should be a two-way process. So we encourage all participants to participate in the sharing session at the end. So we also may pick certain names to share with us. So please be ready, please be prepared. So, all right, we also see our education director, Master Lianyi. He's just came online. Good evening, Master Lianyi. So we are 2 minutes away from the start of class.
Facebook 线上的
So saying hi to everyone on either YouTube and Zoom. So have you did your punch card today? Have you tracked your progress today? So in my group, I've seen everybody diligently tracking their progress through punching card through the punch card activity. So many of us are leaving comments in the chat box, stating that they have completed the punch card activity for today. So we have 1 more minute before class starts. So please have your writing materials prepared.
您准备好了的话，可以踊跃发言。好，那待会呢，我们的课后呢也有丽妍教导大家如何缴交作业。要学习的学员们呢，大家可以留下。
The Lian will be teaching, will be sharing on how do you submit your homework assignments. So please stay tuned. So it is 10 sharp, so we will begin our class. So before class starts, let us put our palms together and pay homage to our root lineage guru, Living Buddha Lianshen, TPS lineage masters, and all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Vajra protectors, Daikini Devas of the mandala, and pray that they radiate light on us such that today's class will be can be completed successfully. Let us form the Padma Kumara Heart Mudra and recite the heart mantra. Om Guru Lianshen Siddhi Hom. 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 We welcome Master Lianyi, our chairman, Master Cheng Zhu, Education Director, Master Lianyi, Public Relations Director, Master Lian Jia, as well as all Master Senior Reverends, Dharma instructors and assistants, and everyone on Zoom and YouTube. Good evening, everyone. So we thank everyone for being enthusiastic in their punch card activity. And I believe that today is a very, I believe that all of us looking forward to today's session. So we also thank today's interpreter for the English channel. There is there's myself, and then for the Indonesian channel there is 佩芬 dear 佩芬 So today let us continue listening to Master Lianyi for the course on the True Buddha Tantric Dharma. All right, let us pay homage and give thanks to Root Lineage Guru Living Buddha Liansheng, TBS Lineage Masters, and all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Vajra Protectors, Dakinis, and of the Mandala. Most respected Chairman, Master Cheng Zu, Education Director, Master Lian Ha, Public Relations Director, Master Lian Jia, as well as Master Lian Fei, all Masters, Senior Reverends, Dharma Instructors, Assistants, and all Dharma siblings. Good evening, good evening, everyone. So after as I was listening to DA Chiu Yun's, it seems like my class is purely listening to stories. It seems the impression that I'm giving to people is that my class is full of stories. So this is right. It is true. I like to give class. I like to add stories into my class because it's from my. All right. So today we will start with lesson 4, the sequence in True Buddha Tantra. So before we do that, let us do a quick recap. So the first question in Tantrayana, please write out the four refuge in Tantrayana. So you can write your answer in the chat box. So we have many answers already in the chat box. All right, it seems that one of us has gotten the answer. So the answer is the root guru, Vajrayachaya. And the next is Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So the next question is, which are the 3 types of blessing gates received from Living Buddha Liansheng? So we see some English responses in the chat box as well. Yep. So the second question is, which are the 3 types of blessing gates received from Living Buddha Liansheng? So the answer is body gate, speech gate, and mind gate. So the third question, the 3 types of attainment that Living Buddha Liansheng possesses to enable him to perform remote empowerment are. So please just list one of the 3 types of attainment. So these 3 types of attainment is the reason why Living Buddha Liansheng can perform remote empowerment. So it seems that we have somebody who has the answer and who wrote the answer in the chat box. So the first type of attainment is Grandmaster has achieved the ability to transcend the skies. The second type of attainment is that Grandmaster possesses the accomplishment to summon and to be invisible. And the third type of attainment that Grandmaster has is that he has achieved the great radiant accomplishment of personal deity. All right, so today's lesson is a bit lengthy, so I will just go directly into the lesson proper. So the stages of True Buddha Tantric Dharma. So the stages of True Buddha Tantra begin with the first level of empowerment, which is the outer tantric practices, followed by the second level of empowerments, the inner tantra practices, the third level of empowerments, the highest yoga tantra, and the fourth level of empowerments, the great perfection. So between these stages, there are also many sub-stages from simple to profound. So the stages in the outer tantra practices are the 4 preliminaries, the root guru yoga, and the personal deity practice. The stages in the inner tantra practices are the treasure vase breathing practice, the inner fire yoga, meditation on the bindus, non-leakage practice, and the vajra freeze practice. Then there is the supreme practices and then the highest yoga tantra. Lastly, there is the great perfection. So we begin from the most fundamental towards perfection. So this is the sequence in cultivating the true Buddha Tantra. So let us, I will share the story again. So there was a 63-year-old lady. So this is a true story. So she 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 wanted to walk from New York to the city of Miami in Florida. So this is an extremely long journey. It covers a distance of approximately 2,000 kilometers. So she spent a long time completing this journey step by step. So upon arriving in Miami, a reporter asked her, there was a reporter who interviewed her, and the reporter wanted to know, um, because this task is so difficult, uh, how did she get the courage to start such a journey? Because it was such a long distance. So the the lady just replied, actually, taking a step does not require any courage. So what I just did merely was to take a step, and then to take the next step, and then the next step. And this is how I made it to Miami. So this is what the lady replied. So after everyone listened to this story, even though it's such a simple thing, such a long journey, it's of course it has to be difficult and tough before she reaches the destination. However, this 63-year-old lady, her mindset is to just start with the first step and then to take the next slowly step by step. So there's always a saying, there's this saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begin with a single step. So no matter what journey we embark on, the first step is always just right in front of us. So the same goes for our cultivation. So we cannot expect great attainments immediately after we start cultivation, but we have to just diligently cultivate, move forward step by step in sequence, in the sequence that we mentioned just now earlier. So we just take one step at a time before we proceed to the next step. So step by step, we will eventually reach our destination. So this story actually inspires everything that you want to do. It just begins with a very simple single step. So it just serves as a reminder and an inspiration to us, this story. Okay, so next is the stages. We will talk about the stages of outer Tantra practices. So the scope of this begins with the 4 preliminaries and is the groundwork for entering into Tantrayana. So this means to practice the full body great homage, the mandala offering, to recite the 4-fold refuge mantra, and to cultivate the Vajrasattva practice. So for the full body great homage, we need to do 100,000 of them. So do it every day such that it adds up to 100,000. So additionally, practicing the full body great homage provides good exercise for maintaining a healthy body. So in the Tibetan cultivation, there is a rule that each preliminary practice must be completed 100,000 times. So this is equivalent to laying a foundation before building a house. Once the foundation is solid, the house will not collapse when it's built. So this is the same for cultivation. So once we have a solid, firm foundation, as we proceed with the subsequent stages of cultivation, it will be very stable. So there's this story about Tsongkhapa. So how did he perform full body great homage in his life? So he did his prostrations on a big rock on the mountain. So he did 3.5 million. So Okay, so Tsongkhapa was paying homage to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and then he was doing his all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of all directions. So he was doing his prostration on a big rock on the mountain. So originally this stone had many edges and corners, but it was over time, because Tsongkhapa kept prostrating, it was smoothened. The big rock was smoothened. So if eventually after Tsongkhapa completed this, he eventually saw all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas materialize before him. So even though in True Buddha school we do not have such a rule that one must complete this the full body great homage 100,000 times, but this is it will be good if everyone is able to do this to build one's own foundation. So it is also a good way to exercise, to keep one's body fit. So another thing the full body great homage is good for is that it will get rid of one's ignorance. So does anyone know who's the father of the United States? So he's called Franklin. So he's an extremely smart person. So when he was young and vigorous, he visited a highly respected old man when he was young. So he held his head high and he walked with a swagger. So he had a very a build. He was quite tall, had a big build. So when he walked with a swagger into the house of into the home of the highly respected old man, his head knocked onto the door frame. So so it hurt so much that he was rubbing his head with his hands. So at this time, the old man came out of the house and saw him in such a state. So he chuckled, he smiled, and he said, "Actually, today you have learned a very valuable lesson in life. So you should lower your head when you should lower your head." So often sometimes we because of our ignorance, we do not lower our head when we are supposed to. So some disciples, when they have cultivated or they have been practicing Buddhism for very long, they there is a little ignorance in the sense that they kind of look down on new disciples. So somebody who truly practice Buddhism has to practice being humble and to get rid of one's ignorance. So the first actually the first prerequisite to have to learning Buddhism is having a humble mindset and not an ignorant one. Only then can one keep learning. Uh, yeah. It's only with a humble mind, with a humble mindset that one can be able to learn from different the from different people, from their strengths. So I'm also always in so I see all those young people who are very good with IT computers. So I'm also in awe with them, in awe in them. So if we do not know certain things, we can just go ahead to to approach people humbly and ask them how is this thing done. So once we learn from the strengths of other people, and we are able to kind of transform it to a strength of our own, that is our own ability already. So everyone has their own strength. So it would be good if we can learn from everyone's strength, such that it builds onto our knowledge, our wisdom. And then we can further help more people, more sentient beings. So we are all equal in a sense. We will have to learn from one another all the time. So Franklin, back to the story, Franklin, he learned from this incident that he should lower his head when he ought to. So he learned humility, how to be humble, how to respect people. And he used this incident as the guideline of his life. And, and he eventually became a respected great man of his generation and eventually the father of the United States. So next is the mandala offering. So the practice of the mandala offering signifies reverence. It is the reverence towards Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Vajra protectors. So this we also have to practice 100,000 times. So I remember during a Q&A session of a Grandmaster's Q&A session at the Rainbow Temple, someone asked, we only eat 3 meals a day. So how can we complete the mandala offering practice for 100,000 times? So Grandmaster is very benevolent. He taught us the practice. He taught us this practice. So how do we do it? So it is the mandala rice offering practice. So you prepare a mandala plate and then you put the rice on the mandala plate. So the mandala plate represents the 10 Dharma realms of the cosmos. So you form the sword finger mudra and place it by the side of the mandala plate and visualize. So you visualize the rice filling up the mountain and the sea and eventually filling up the entire universe, then offering this rice to the 10 Dharma realms. So after the visualization, you will form the offering mudra and recite the offering praise and mantra one time each. Then you, so this is, this completes one practice of the mandala offering practice. Afterwards, you pour out the rice and replace it with new rice, and then then you start your second round of practicing the mandala rice offering. So you just keep doing this continuously, you are able to eventually accumulate 100,000 times of the mandala offering practice. All right, so after the next one is the reciting the Fourfold Refuge mantra. So reciting the Fourfold Refuge mantra is a way to strengthen a cultivator's faith in the root Guru, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So Namo Gurupe, Namo Buddhaye, Namo Dhammaye, Namo Sanghaye. So the significance of reciting the Fourfold Refuge mantra is for the cultivator themselves to achieve spiritual union with the root Guru, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So the regular recitation of the Fourfold Refuge mantra is also a way to strengthen one's faith. So I'm sure everyone is anyone familiar with the 100th reincarnation of Tsongkhapa, Kandan Tripa of the Gelug tradition? So he went to visit Grandmaster and also offered Grandmaster some I think a dragon robe and some Dharma items. I didn't quite catch. So he was at the so the Ganden Tripa of the Gelug tradition. He's the 100th reincarnation of Tsongkhapa. So when he tossed the card, he tossed the hada, it landed on Manjushri's sword. So when he So he is also known as the reincarnation of Manjushri, Wenshu Pusa. So, so when this Ganden Tripa, when he passed on, his body still remained warm for 19 days. So typically, accomplished practitioners, their body will remain warm for about 7 days. But for Ganden Tripa of the Gelug tradition, when he passed, his body actually remained warm for 19 days. It seems that Master Lianyi wants to show something on his mobile.
看不到，但是要再进那个镜头嘛，可能就会看得到啊。对，
So Master is trying to show a picture of the Ganden Tripa of the Gelug tradition. So the 100 reincarnation of Tsongkhapa.
早知道教去印度教就放在那个PPT 啊，这个就是单车巴法王的转世，还有这个就是文殊菩萨那个智慧剑。
So I think Master is trying to show a picture of Wenshu Pusa's wisdom sword.
讲回重点，因为甘丹车巴呢，这个法王他开始一句话很好，
So the
他说。
the Dharma Ganden Tripa, there was an important teaching from him. So he asked, why must all Tantrayana disciples regard their teachers as Buddhas? So Ganden's Tripa answer is it is because we want to obtain the benefit and merit of the Dharma. If you do not regard your teacher as a Buddha, it doesn't affect your guru. He doesn't experience any loss. But this actually affects your own cultivation, your own practice. So this will create obstacles in your practice if you do not regard your teacher as a Buddha, your root guru as a Buddha. So it's extremely important to regard your root guru as a Buddha in Tantrayana. So in Tantrayana, we cultivate both our mind and our body together. So what does cultivating the body mean? So cultivating the body is the cultivation of one's qi, the meridian channels as well as the luminant dewdrops, the bindus. So in a lot of inner tantric practice, there are a lot of pith instructions that can only be passed down by the root guru. So it is extremely important that we regard the root guru as the as a Buddha, because only then will we be able to receive the benefit of the Dharma. So what? So what is the mission of TBS? So it is to realize one's self nature and to obtain mastery over life and death. So the next is cultivating the Vajrasattva practice. So it is a form of repentance and it has profound significance. So Padmasambhava once said that it is horrifying that practitioners do not know how to repent. So it's extremely horrifying and scary if practitioners do not know how to repent. So there was this disciple who knew that the things that Grandmaster used will have immense blessing power. So during one of the ceremonies, he secretly took away the water cup that Grandmaster had drunk from and placed it at his shrine at home. So from that day on, every time he saw that cup, this cup that Grandmaster has drank out of before, he would have a guilty, sinful feeling. So every time he saw this cup, he felt guilty. He was thinking, oh, I shouldn't have taken this. So however, he also felt embarrassed to take it to return the cup back to Grandmaster. So he dragged this thing out for about a year. So after a year, he finally plucked up his courage and he bought 6 new cups, 6 new very nice cups, and presented it to and offered it to Grandmaster. So he also confessed and repented to Grandmaster. So he told Grandmaster that he actually took his Grandmaster's water cup before, and he repented to Grandmaster. So after listening, Grandmaster is truly kind. He patted his shoulder a few times and he said, "It's all right, it's all right." So from then on, it's very strange. The disciple did not feel any feelings of guilt and sin, any sinful feeling anymore. So he felt much lighter than before. He became more relaxed. So the reason why I shared this story is because when we do some when we make mistakes in addition to repenting to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, we should also repent to our root guru. So this actually gives a lot of there's a lot of merit in this. So if we confess our past wrongdoings to Grandmaster and sincerely repent, this will also have its own merit. So Pama Sambhava taught his disciples every day before 5 minutes before going to bed. Think carefully about whether you have committed any wrongdoings that was not in alignment with the Dharma or committed any mistakes in that entire day. So if the disciples have made a mistake, so they should immediately recite the 100-syllable mantra to repent and transform today's fault into purity. So this karma is accumulated gradually. So it's a very slow process. And it will accumulate over time. So it may become karmic obstacles and hindrances to us when we experience obstacles in our daily lives. So it is good to reflect on every day before bed, to reflect on the things that you have done, any fault that you have done, any mistake you have done, and to recite the 100-syllable mantra at least 3 times. So to transform this mistake into purity. So in a sense, we do not accumulate the negative karma such that it accumulates into karmic hindrances. So next will be the root guru yoga practice. So the cultivation of the root guru practice is the yoga for spiritual union with one's root guru. So this practice has to be cultivated by all disciples. So this the root guru yoga practice has to be cultivated by all cultivators so that they can achieve spiritual union with their root guru. So next is the personal deity practice after the root guru yoga. So this is the personal deity practice is a practice by which a cultivator can achieve spiritual union with their with their personal deity. So the next we'll be moving on to the stages of the inner Tantra practices. So the first one is the treasure vase breathing practice. Then, so recently, Grandmaster has also mentioned, Grandmaster has, so even though Grandmaster is 79 years old, he's still very energetic. So Grandmaster has mentioned if you want to remain energetic and you want to remain youthful, you have to cultivate your qi. This is very important. You have to cultivate your qi. This is what Grandmaster said. So this is what Grandmaster did even until today when he's 79 years old, he's still able to do 200 push up. So this is the kind of energy he still has at 79 years old. So it's extremely important to cultivate your qi. And one way to do that is through the treasure vase breathing practice. So the next is the inner fire yoga. So this involves awakening of the life elements in the body, which is also known as Kundalini. So from the inner fire yoga, one can cultivate the Vajra non-leakage practice and meditation on the drops. So the three practices, meditation on the drops, inner fire yoga, and non-leakage practice are integrated. So Grandmaster has actually there are some teachings by Grandmaster on the inner fire yoga. So the inner fire yoga, it has a similar concept as the Danding school, and it's also known as Dantian in Taoism or the lower navel chakra. So both theories are the same, but the only difference lies on the focus point where the energy flows. So the lower Dantian is partially important as the focal point of breathing technique, as well as being the center of balance and gravity. Dantian are focal points for transmutation of the three treasures. So the pith instruction is to visualize that there's a small red flame glowing in the Dantian, like a small red sparkling dot. So using the full cycle breathing technique, we kind of blow on the red spark. So this is very similar to the technique of drilling the wood for fire during ancient times. Once there's spark on the wood, we will blow on the spark to eventually ignite it into fire. So the same theory applies here in this practice. So after every blow, the spark will glow brighter. So as the spark glows brighter, it will become inner fire and rise up through the channel. So it is important to do this practice with patience, gradually, with very delicate visualization. And the breathing has to be very slow. So step by step and after repeated practices, slowly the red spark will become hot. So when the red spark becomes hot, we will continue to transform this heat into inner fire. So the inner fire will then heat up the luminous dew, or the bindus, causing it to rise up the central channel, melting the bodhi dew, which will flow down and blend with the bindu. So without perseverance, it will not be possible to succeed in this practice. So next is the Vajra fist. Externally, a practitioner should cultivate the Vajra fist. So the Vajra fist is a physical method and it needs to coordinate with the Kundalini within a practitioner's body. So the inner is Kundalini and externally is the Vajra fist. So it is the method of mutual cultivation that is guided by the body and involves the inner life elements. So then, we move on to the supreme practices, which includes the 5 great supreme practices and the 8 Vidya Raja practices. So Grandmaster has also taught about this before. So externally, the cultivation of the Vajra fist is for protection and subjugation. Internally, the cultivation of the Vajra fist is to cultivate the opening of the 5 chakras. So with cultivation in the internal and external areas, as well as the highest yoga, tantra, and even attainment of the supreme practices, one is able to realize the great attainment of Buddhahood. So there's a profound meaning in all of this. So what is the 5 chakras? So the 5 chakras are the third eye chakra, throat chakra, heart chakra, solar plexus chakra, and the sacral chakra. So I'm sharing all this to give a very brief overview of all this, all the inner tantric practices. So next is the cultivation of the highest yoga tantra, which is the method of practicing double function of emptiness and happiness. So Grandmaster has said that this can only be should be done through visualization. So the extension of the highest yoga tantra would then be the great perfection. So at the level of cultivating the great perfection, one can be said to have reached the spiritual attainment of a Buddha and a Tathagata. So we'll go into the True Buddha School's sequence of cultivation. So there's 2 kinds of cultivation stage in the True Buddha School, True Buddha Tantra. So the generation stage and the completion stage. So the generation stage is as long as one's body, mouth, and mind are purified, one can be reborn in Buddha land. So for the completion stage, the spiritual attainment of the great perfection, attainment of the state of emptiness, attainment of Buddhahood in this lifetime, and the great attainment of rainbow light. So the stages of cultivating the true Buddha Tantra begin with the outer Tantra practices, then the inner Tantra practices, the secret Tantra practices, and finally the ultimate secret Tantra practices. So hence cultivation begins with the generation stage, which is the outer Tantra practices, before it proceeds to the completion stage, inner Tantra practices, and then secret Tantra practices, and then the ultimate secret Tantra practices in sequence. So yes, the sequence in cultivation is as follows. It's the 4 preliminaries, the root guru yoga, then the personal deity practice. So the above are outer Tantra practice and are considered to be in the generation stage. So next is the treasure-based breathing practice, inner fire practice, opening of the central channel. So these are the inner Tantra practices. As for then next, we'll talk about the secret Tantra practices, which is opening of the 5 chakras, supreme practices, and the highest yoga Tantra. And the last, the ultimate secret Tantra practice is the great perfection. So there are stages and a sequence to be observed in Tantrayana cultivation. So skipping out stages in cultivation is not allowed, and one must not start off with cultivating advanced practices. So the completion of every stage serves as a foundation for the next stage. So if one wishes to cultivate the inner Tantra practices, one must first receive the blessing of their personal deity, of their root guru and Dharma protector. So practitioners first need to start with cultivation of personal deity practice instead of starting immediately with inner Tantra practices or higher yoga Tantra or the great perfection. So skipping of stages is strictly not allowed. So we have been repeating so the true Buddha Tantra observes the same principle. Skipping of stages is strictly not allowed. So Tantrayana focuses on skillful means technique. And the secret of such techniques, Grandmaster believes such techniques are the crux of cultivation. So Tantrayana techniques are not to be publicly disclosed. So the true reason for this is that once these techniques are disclosed, the entire Dharma realm will be destroyed. So if you have any, if you wish to know any brief instructions in pertaining to Tantrayana techniques, you should write a letter to Grandmaster personally, so he can to write a letter to Grandmaster personally, as these cannot be publicly disclosed. So disclosable and non-disclosable true Buddha Tantric Dharma. So the part that can be made public, Grandmaster has already disclosed as much as possible. So as for the part that cannot be publicly disclosed, they are stopped at that point. So the outer Tantra practices of the true Buddha school are completely disclosed. And then the inner Tantra practices of the true Buddha school, half is made public while the other half is not. And then the secret Tantra practices are all not disclosed publicly, and the ultimate secret Tantra practices of the true Buddha Tantra is also not disclosed publicly. So the inner Tantra practices refer to the cultivation of one's chi, meridian channels, and luminant dewdrops. So the secret Tantra practices refer to the highest Yoga Tantra, and then the ultimate secret Tantra practice refers to the great perfection. So in Tantrayana, one has to follow the sequence and stages when it comes to receiving empowerment and cultivation to fruition. If the proper sequence and stages are not observed, it is extremely dangerous. This is because in Tantrayana, the greater the achievement, the greater the danger. So Grandmaster believes that Tantrayana practitioners must first cultivate to purify their body, mind, and speech. Then they can progress to the cultivation of their chi, meridian channels, and luminant dewdrops. Then, following the sequence, then they can proceed to highest yoga tantra and lastly the great perfection. So, so there are stages in Tantrayana, as one can only understand the tantric practices of a certain state after one has attained that particular state. Must.
当时呢，他看到密宗讲这个双生法的时候呢，他觉得这个密宗怎么可以讲这些修双生法呢？他就觉得真的真的不行。然后
there's this this master Hong Yi, so he criticized Tantrayana because he only saw Tantrayana practices on the surface without delving deep into the different Tantrayana practices. So he criticized Tantrayana practices when he did not even understand them fully. So eventually after he delved into a detailed study of Tantrayana, he eventually wrote a repentance letter to repent, and he included a line that says if one does not understand Tantrayana, then one should not criticize Tantrayana. So this is just so this is what he wrote in his repentance letter after he realized he was wrong for criticizing Tantrayana because he did not understand Tantrayana. Yeah, so if we do not understand something, we should not criticize it. So in Tibetan Tantrayana cultivation, practitioners are required to start with 12 years of Sutrayana cultivation before progressing to 8 years of Tantrayana cultivation. Yep. So practitioners start with 12 years of Sutrayana cultivation, Sutrayana study of Sutrayana theories. So then they can proceed to 8 years of Tantrayana cultivation. So this is to ensure that the practitioners have reinforced their cultivation and cultivated, in the sense, their ability to acquire the Buddhism skills as well as the insight of ultimate truth, which is the main objective for these stages of cultivation. So one should not only cultivate the advanced practices and neglect the basic practices. So Grandmaster has always shared that we should always do every small thing well. Only then we can do big tasks well. So small attainments gradually accumulate into big ones. And directly starting with advanced practice without the proper foundation will cause one to go astray and deviate into evil paths. So Tantrayana advocates cultivation with one's physical body, cultivation from form to formless, from joy to emptiness, and from happiness to emptiness. So in general, the first level of empowerment is for purity. The second level of empowerment is for cultivation of one qi, meridian, channels, and luminant dewdrops. The third level is for the development of joyful radiance. And the fourth level is for unsurpassed radiance, emptiness. So all of them have their own significance and sequence. So this is equivalent to having the meaning of each empowerment correspond to the sequence of the cultivation path. All right, so we'll enter into our Q&A round 1.
请大家准备好手机。好，我把那个连接
So,
放在留言区。
just get your mobile phones ready.
3种语言同步进行。中文的，请点击这个中文连接。
So the mini quizzes for the 3 different languages, English, Chinese, and Indonesian, will proceed at the same time. So you can
那就给大家
enter into
大概1分钟时间来进入这一个环节。
So you can go to www.menti.com and you can key in the code 68887368 for the English one and take part. So we'll just have around 1 minute for everyone to get ready with their phones. Alright, so we can see a lot of people who have already entered the Chinese channel.
英文的，请印尼同门以及不会只会英文的同门，赶快来加入。
So for those who are joining the English and Indonesian channels,
好，开始了。
alright, so we'll start off with the first question.
错误的真佛密法修行。
So select the erroneous stage in the true Buddha practice. Select the erroneous stage in the true Buddha Tantra practice. A is generation stage, B is accomplishment stage, and C is completion stage. So you're supposed to select the wrong stage in the true Buddha Tantra practice. Which of the options are wrong?
还是B 啊？对啊，答案是 B。
All right, the answer is B.
好，老师可以进入第二题了。
进入第二题。
We will proceed to the second question.
选出真佛密法的正
Select the correct order of practice in the True Buddha Tantra.
根本上
A, the 4 preliminaries, followed by group Guru Yoga, followed by personal deity practice. B,
根本上是
the
相应
4
法。
preliminaries, followed by personal deity practice, then Guru Yoga. Or C, Guru Yoga, the 4 preliminaries, and then personal deity practice. So please select your answer.
Wow. 对了，答案是 A。
Alright, so the answer is A.
哦，
中文榜的第一名就是这位
So
荣师姐啊，恭喜你啊！
印尼文的，我们有 Montana， 不晓得是师兄还是师姐。
Montana 啊，恭喜你啊 ！Montana。
Alright, for the
中文就是 Lotus
English
Angel。
channel, we have Lotus Angel as the first.
恭喜你。好，
Congratulations to all.
游戏
好
结束了
结束了，
就
好，
Alright, we end our mini game section. We'll continue with lesson.
好，现在我们
So we'll be moving to the 3 roots in Tantrayana.
三根本。
So what are the 3 roots?
本尊
So the 3 roots are
是密教
root guru, root personal deity, and root Dharma protector. So they are the 3 roots in Tantrayana cultivation. So the root guru is the root of blessing. In principle, without the in Tantrayana cultivation, without the root guru's essential pith instruction to bless and guide the Tantrayana practitioner, how can you even enter into Tantrayana cultivation? So this reminds me of a story. There was a housewife. Her TV at home was spoiled, so she invited a repairman to come and repair the television. So once the repairman arrived, and he saw the TV.
他这样子捶了一下，电视机就好了。
So after the repairman came into the house and saw the TV, he just merely knocked on the TV. So the housewife asked the repairman, how much do you what is the repair fee? And then the repairman was like, repairman said, oh, it's $100. So the housewife was very puzzled. You merely just knocked on the TV, so you have to. So why is the repair fee $100? So the repairman replied, so actually knocking on the TV is probably just $1, but at the position at which to knock the TV, the position on the TV at which to knock, that is worth $99. So this is the pith instruction. It's an analogy of the pith instruction. So if you do not know where to knock on the TV, then that's actually the crux. So the root personal deity is the root of attainment. So without the root personal deity's empowerment of majestic virtue and stream of Dharma, how can practitioners assess the secrets of Buddha and achieve spiritual union? So the root Dharma protector is the root of achievement. So without the root Dharma protector guarding Tantrayana practitioners day and night, they would have been possessed by demons, became a meal for the demons, or went astray into evil paths. So out of these 3 roots, okay, so the root Dharma protector is extremely important. So the root Dharma protector is responsible for protecting the practitioner. So out of these three routes, the most important is still the root guru. So this is because the personal deity and Dharma protector have to be conferred by the root guru. Only then are practices considered to be in accordance with Dharma. So this story is about Mapa. So when Mapa visited India the second time to seek the Dharma, so Naropa transformed himself into a mandala of the Vaja Heruka, which Mapa has never seen before. So upon seeing such a majestic mandala, that is also extremely rare to come across, Mapa immediately prostrated the mandala. So he prostrated the mandala first before he prostrated and paid homage to Naropa. So when Naropa saw this, he immediately told Mapa, "What you have done is wrong." So this mandala of the Vaja Heruka is actually it came from the heart of Naropa. So without the root guru, there's actually no such mandala. So what you have done is wrong. And because of such inauspicious affinity, eventually Mapa, he lost one of his sons. So So out of the three great roots in Tantrayana, why is the root guru the most highly respected? So in Tantrayana, the root guru is regarded with the utmost respect. So offering to the root guru is deemed as the highest priority, and receiving blessings from the root guru is the only condition to achieve spiritual union. Hence, there is the 50 stanzas of guru devotion written by Ashvagosa. So this reminds me of another story. There was once Grandmaster brought some disciples to visit Grand Guru Thupten Daje. Thupten Daji 上师. So of course Grandmaster will enter first before the TBS disciples entered. So the Grand Guru was sitting on the dragon side while Grandmaster was sitting on the tiger side. So who should the TBS disciples, when they enter the room, who should they pay homage and prostrate to first? So many TBS disciples thought that because Grand Guru was Tudan Daji Sangshi was sitting on the dragon side, and so they prostrated to Tudan Daji Sangshi first. So afterwards, Tudan Daji Sangshi said, if you prostrated to me first, you are wrong. You have done wrong. It is only because you have a root guru, then yeah, so if it is only because you have a root guru, then you have a grand guru. So they should have prostrated grandmaster first. So disciples should respect their guru and regard the guru's wishes as their own wishes. So with regards to the root guru's teaching, they must learn diligently and pursue fruition as part of one's cultivation. So in Tantrayana cultivation, what are the three great roots of utmost importance? So in Tantrayana, the root guru is of the first priority and should never be abandoned. Next is the root personal deity who one should devote themselves to their entire lifetime. And then the last is the root Dharma protector who guards the practitioner for the entire lifetime. So if any one of the three are absent, one loses the blessing power of lineage. So the three roots in Tantrayana are simply too important. So the guru is the master of all dharmas, the personal deity is the intrinsic nature of the practitioner, and the dharma protector is the guardian deity in the mortal realm. So none of the three are dispensable. So if one has achieved spiritual union in their cultivation, fear of death will naturally vanish, like the lifting of the fog as the sun appears. So why is it that if a Tantrayana practitioner fails to practice in accordance with the three great roots, they are considered to have been cultivating wrongly and not according to the Dharma? So for Tantrayana practitioners, from the initial determination to take refuge in their root guru and the cultivation of the four preliminaries as building blocks for their foundation, to spiritual union with their root guru and receiving the blessing power of lineage, then followed by the cultivation of the personal deity practice and the three blessing gates until spiritual union with one's personal deity. This is considered a process of cultivation initiated by requisite causes and conditions towards the different stages of attainment. So if one does not cultivate in this way, one does not have the requisite causes and conditions for cultivation. Hence, the stages of attainment that results from such cultivation will be improper. So if one cultivates the practice of a certain personal deity today, then switches to another one tomorrow, changing personal deities day to day, they are unable to focus single-mindedly on one, and this will result in confusion and they will have no attainment. So this is why the root personal deity is considered the root of attainment. So if a practitioner receives the root of blessing and the root of attainment, such cultivation would then be effective. The power of the Dharma changes infinitely, and all Dharmas are mutually universal and of the same essence. So all Dakinis will protect and uphold these Dharmas, and this is hence the root of achievement. So with the root of blessing, the root of attainment, and the root of achievement, one can then attain profound samadhi as well as immeasurable skillful means. So when a Tantrayana practitioner seeks rebirth at the point of death, why do they need to constantly think of the three great roots in order for bright lights to appear? So a Grandmaster deeply believes that for a Tantrayana practitioner, the importance of remembering the three roots is evident at this very moment, so at the moment of death. So if you normally do not believe in anything and you only believe in money, can money save you? So if one has the right faith and remembers the three roots at all times, the root guru, personal deity, and Dharma protector will be able to materialize. They will be the bright lights guiding one's rebirth. So for attainments in Tantrayana cultivation, one needs to have right view at all times. And if they do not have the three roots, or if they are missing any one of the three, any kind of attainment would not be possible. Why is this so? So in Tantrayana, one must follow a Vajracharya that has true lineage, which means they have to clearly determine a root guru to place their pure faith in and to cultivate wholeheartedly under this root guru. So this is because when one entrusts their hearts and mind with their root guru and remember the three roots at all times, they are able to be clear-headed and steadfast in their practice. So this translates to right view in Tantrayana. So the right view in Tantrayana means following one's root guru, personal deity, and Dharma protector, and to cultivate diligently. So one should not desire for supernatural powers, covet for the strange or the plentiful. One should not be taken by illusions or engage in slander or have any doubts. So blind faith is unacceptable, superstition is unacceptable, rationality and reasoning is the most important.
身怀特技的人。什么是身怀特技的人呢？因为他的口中能够喷火，所以很吸引他。他觉得这个就是有修行有正量的人，所以呢，他就很想学。
So there's this story about a lama who had great faith with their root guru at first, but I think on one of his journeys he saw a practitioner that was able to breathe fire, so he was extremely impressed with this superpower. So he went back to his root guru and told him about this incident and that he wanted to learn this superpower. So the root guru asked this person who was able to breathe fire, how long do you take to master this superpower of breathing fire, spitting fire? So the person replied, 20 years. So then the root guru said, you took 20 years to just learn this skill? So the root guru then showed. Then I think he snapped his finger and he was able to generate flame with just a mere snap of his finger. So the question is, what is our motive? What is our reason for cultivating Tantrayana, for practicing Tantrayana? So is it just to have superpowers to breathe or spit fire? So the Lama understood this concept, and then he went back to cultivate diligently under his root guru. So when we start practicing Tantrayana, we are often we are attracted by and taken by these many spiritual responses, etc. So this story is it's just a reminder to some new disciples who have started to cultivate Tantrayana. So we first start off with cultivating the purity of our body, speech, and mind, and so the purpose of cultivation is not to have such excellent spiritual responses, but to cultivate the purity of our body, mind, and soul, and to eliminate our afflictions, to transform our thoughts into purity. Okay, so this is to have accomplishments in Tantrayana, one must have the right view and righteous thought at all times. So this is the brief summary already. So in the area of cultivation, Grandmaster has completely experienced the entire Tantrayana sadhana as well as progressed through the different stages. So he has understood the various different stages of cultivation from the most fundamental all the way to the great perfection. Hence, Grandmaster is a true master equipped with the Dharma, a guru who is truly able to attain unexcelled complete enlightenment, and is a true Maha Eminent Raja Acharya. So we are extremely fortunate to be able to take refuge under such a master. So we should treasure our affinity with Grandmaster and cultivate diligently. So we'll leave the rest. So I'll end the lesson today. We'll leave the rest of the time to the sharing session afterwards. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Master Lianyi, for his interesting class, and we have many so
开心时也是修行，也要修行；挫败时也是修行，也要修行。最重要，像林毅上师说的，一步一步的坚持才是到彼岸。所以今天我们也学习了很多如何开始。
So we have learned a lot today, especially the story on the lady who started her journey with a single step. So this is what we should do for our cultivation. So we move on to the sharing session. So if you have anything, you have any thoughts, any experiences you want to share, you feel free to unmute yourself to voice out. So you can raise your hand or you can just unmute yourself directly to share your experiences. So if there are no volunteers, then we will pick on. All right. So we have Senior Reverend Lianyi. So let's pay homage to our Grandmaster for radiating light on us, such that today's session has proceeded smoothly. So today, so this sharing session, I will just kickstart this sharing session. So since there is nobody who has volunteered, so initially, so what Master Lianyi shared today, to learn from other people's strengths and to transform it into a kind of a strength of our own. So I have also something similar. So which is that I will continue learning as long as I live. So for all Dharma propagators, if we see any strengths, if we see any disciples who are not propagators who have strengths, we should also learn from them. So another point was on the 100 syllable mantra. So if we made any mistakes during the day, we should repent during the with the 100 syllable mantra by reciting the 100 syllable mantra. So there was this story that there was this man who, after he committed various murders, he would go to church and confess to the priest or the father there. So after the so after every confession, he will still continue to kill people.
那么上帝就会原谅我的过错，其实这是不对的，因为这样是只有忏悔的一个口述，而没有真正生理去实践。
So this is only merely repentance through verbal repentance and not actual repentance, because he is confessing and repenting to his crime, but he is still continuing with the sinful act. So this is something we should take note of. So not just to recite the 100 syllable mantra, but also to make sure our future actions in our future actions we do not commit that same fault again. So on the part about personal deities, so Master Lianyi mentioned that we should not keep switching personal deities. Like one day for example, one day we cultivate the practice of this personal deity, then the next day we switch.
很奇怪，我去散步，我到台的流通处，刚好就碰到一位 3年没有见的师兄，那么他也跟我做，他也看到
Senior Reverend is sharing his story. He went on a walk and then he coincidentally bumped into a disciple, and this disciple shared that he liked
那我讲说，那很好啊。那么你有
春地Buddha Mother 春地佛母。
本尊法有修吗？有啊。那你修多少本尊法？他说他修了很多很多。
So Senior Reverend asked him, "Oh, do you cultivate the personal deity practice of Mahatsuti?"
当我跟他分享完之后，我就
So he said the disciple said, "Yes, I do." But then after that, Senior Reverend asked, "Oh, do you have a root personal deity?" So the disciple was taken aback because he had been cultivating the personal deity practices of different personal deities, and not just focusing on one.
来报告，跟佛前禀告，就来确定跟我本尊呢。他听完之后豁然开朗。那我们今天也相谈甚欢，所以没有多久，他果然就到佛前去确定他的根本本尊。所以这边跟大家做分享，就是说我们
So after he went
遇到这一尊我就修这一尊，遇到那尊我就修那一尊，其实这样是不对的。所以跟大家分享到，谢谢大家，阿弥陀佛。
Yeah, so the story is just to focus on one personal deity instead of switching from one to another.
对，没有错，忏悔要重新，然后勿再犯。还有除了这一步一步之外呢，专一也是很重要的。那我们这里看到有人开麦了，是有人要分享吗？好，那还有
So is there anyone who wishes to to share?
好，先辅助教，请您分享。
I think DA 先服 wishes to share. Okay, good. Good evening, everyone. So what I want to share today is so just now we touched on the point that cultivation has to proceed in stages. Sorry, I think the speaker's connection is not very good, so I can't really catch.
Sorry. 我就想说一下那个修行是需要那个依次那个次第的。
Alright, so she's back. So there was the point that we touched on just now that there is a sequence to be observed in cultivation. So the cultivation of the previous stage is the foundation of the next stage. So if there's no proper foundation, it is very easy to be led astray and to deviate into evil paths. So this, which may actually bring great harm to the practitioner. So it's extremely important that we have a firm foundation in cultivation. I can't really hear her well.
好，谢谢，非常谢谢仙福助教。对，没有错。那这里呢，我也是收到了一个留言，来自建清师兄的，那我快速分享一下。那因为建清师兄呢是非常精进
So there's also a comment from one of the disciples.
有上课呢，他就精进到现在。那我们再次看一下他的留言。那他是这样说的。
So this is what he or she said.
小弟子因痛并支援练习大礼拜，每天
Thank you, Grandmaster. I have taken refuge for about 20 years, and so this disciple has been practicing the full body great homage every day, and I think he has managed to cure that his past illnesses has been cured as a result. He initially had backache, and then now after practicing the full body great homage continuously every day, he has I think he does not suffer from backache anymore. So there is also another comment.
那我们可以请莲意上师来为他回答吗？
是这样子的，就是之前呢，我们早期的时候，就是做披甲护身呢，都是以自己的护法为主的。比如说你是不动明王，你就观想不动明王，也可以观想四大天王。
So there is this question. When we are doing armor protection, after we recite the mantra, do we visualize Atala surrounding us, front on our four sides, surrounding us? So initially, the previous practice was to visualize one's own personal one's own Dharma protector, but now we have standardized and we will visualize.
那这个是最后一道问题，请问上师现在同修法本已经统一，请问旧的法本
金刚手菩萨 instead.
来用吗？谢谢，阿弥陀佛。
We will follow because Grandmaster has given this as the latest instruction. So we visualize Vajrapani instead. Standardize visualizing Vajrapani after when we are doing the armor protection.
那么有一些，比如说旧的弟子，他已经习惯了用旧的法本来修，可以吗？那我自己认为，如果自己在家里修呢，是可以的按照也是真佛密法嘛，只是有一些改变而已。所以这如果是在道场大众的地方，还是以众委会统一这个法本比较好。
Okay, so I think this question is whether we can use the old versions of the sadhanas, but if during your personal practice it is okay, but it's best to use the latest version as issued by TBF, the latest sadhana issued by TBF.
密法的最重要的，然后先观顶后修法。
Yep, so to emphasize again, it's better to follow the standardized version of the sadhana that has the latest version that has been released by TBF.
这个也是有的，因为你练金刚颂也是练你的气嘛，就是气要吸漫长嘛。一般上，如果你的气很浊的话呢，它对你的修内法那个保平气或者那些都是没有这么好，就是开始由初慢慢练习到你的这个金刚颂也好这个九节佛风也好，都是。
So before we practice the Vajra recitation, what foundation must we have? So I think Master Lianyi has replied that one needs to have adequate qi in their body. So this is the foundation you need to have. So because so the next question is, because we have a new latest version of the sadhana by TBF, what should we do with the older versions? So if they are not spoiled, if they are not damaged, you can still keep them. It is still ultimately a book. So you can still keep them. All right. Thank you, Master Lianyi. All right, thank you everyone for participating so enthusiastically and raising questions, queries. So you may be embarrassed to maybe sometimes you might be you might feel embarrassed to ask certain questions, but do feel free to ask because you never know whether your question is something that somebody else is taking off as well. So it is best to share, to ask questions and we can share the knowledge. So afterwards we'll also have DA Lian to teach us how to submit your homework assignment. So do stay tuned. So thank you, Grandmaster. Thank you, Grandmaster, for his blessing, and thank you to Chairman Master Lian, to Education Director Master Lian Ha, Public Relations Director Master Lian Jia, and Master Lian Fei.
教授师、法师、讲师、助教及各位同门。
And thank you to all masters, senior reverends, Dharma instructors, assistants, and everybody. Thank you, everybody. Amidaba. And today we successfully complete today's class. Thank you. Thank you to Chairman Master Cheng Zu for accompanying us online. Thank you, Education Director Master Lian Ha, Public Relations Director Master Lian Jia, Master Lian Fei. Thank you everyone for your attendance today. So do stay behind if you wish to know how to submit your homework assignments. Also, many thanks to the MC and the host for today, Chiu Yun, 助教. So we will see everyone next week. We'll see everyone next week. So do stay tuned for the instructions on how to submit your homework assignment.
阿弥陀佛，大家留下来都是要学习的，对吧？那想问一下大家做一点小小的问卷调查。那在这里留下来的学员们呢？如果您已经注册了这个中国网络大学的学员，请按1；还没注册的，请按。
So just want to do a little survey. If you have registered as a True Buddha True Buddha School Online University student, please enter 1 into your in the chat. If you have not, please enter 2 in the chat box. So 2 is for those who have not registered as a student under the True Buddha School Online University.
只有中文，没有印尼文，也没有英文。那如果是您
So we'll be going through how to access the website and how to submit your homework assignments on the website. So this website is actually only available in Chinese, but so if you have any troubles accessing the Chinese website, please reach out to your facilitator. They should be able to assist you. Okay, so I will go through the registration process on the registration process on the website.
让大家看看一下我们的真佛网络大学的。
So let's have a look at the official website of the True Buddha School Online University.
好，谢谢。好，那大家要进入我们真佛网络大学的网站呢，就是要在
So this is the link for the True Buddha School Online University, tbedu.org. So to register on
那要注册呢，请大家选择这一个学务区。
So to register on the website, you will have to go to the 学务区 tab and press on the second option. So if you're on your laptop, you can also do it simultaneously. Yeah, so then you select the second option, which translates to student registration. Just wanted to check on the English channel, is there anyone who needs the translation? Please just type in the chat box if you need the translation. Otherwise, I will stop translating. So is there anyone that needs English translation? So basically, I think after you click on the tab, you fill in your personal particulars as seen on as the Melanie DA is doing. So this is the part where you have to upload your own picture.
demo 的一个护照 ID， 好吧？然后呢，是否已归一？是的。再选择你居住的国家，我来自马来西亚。
So you input the country that you are, your country and on nationality.
那大家可以注意一下哦。那些表单表上的这个红色的星星呢，代表是一定要填的。那当您填完了之后呢
So all those that are marked with a red asterisk, you have to fill in that particular field.
我们浏览这一个页面的时候都会不一样，那我们就得跟着这一个验证码的号码进行输入。比如说这个是8812，好，大家都输入好
So
了。
this is just an authentication step. So is everyone done with the inputting the details, your own personal details?
好，我就现在就按这个 submit 的这个按钮，就代表来提交我的这个注册。
So after you're done with filling your personal particulars on this page, you can just press submit. So again, if you come across any trouble accessing this website, because it's only in Chinese, you can feel free to reach out to your facilitator, and he or she will help will assist you. So once you have submitted, there will be, I think there will be a verification code that is sent to the email that you have registered with. So you have to go to your email. This is an extremely important step. So please just hold on for a while. So we are just waiting for the verification code to come in. Yep, there you can see. The verification code is in your inbox, and then it will say TBS EDU. So if you have not received, if you have not received it in your inbox for quite some time, you can go and check your other folders such as your spam or etc. Just check your other folders to see if they have landed up. The email has landed up in those folders instead. So this message just basically tells you that you have your registration is successful, and then you just have to click on the blue text at the bottom. It just means, it translates to verification verification of your email. So it's just it's just a link to verify your email with your account on the TBS Online University website.
那如果是说您没经过这一个路线，是说经过注册，而怎么登入呢？您到了我们的网站，点这个登入的按钮。
So if you are another way to log in is to just come to the website and then you just select the last option. It says 登入, but it's just to log in. And then you key in your email and then your password as well as the verification code that is shown on your right. So it is 3249 in this case. Right, so you should see this page after you have successfully logged in. So if you can see this page, it means that you have successfully completed registration. So you can see a few tabs on the left. I think it's the different courses that you are the student is taking, etc. So if you wish to change your password, you can just click on the last box, the second option as shown on the screen, and then so you just have to key in your old password and then enter your new password. So if you want to change your personal particulars, you can do it here as well. So next is the most anticipated part of all. So how can we choose courses on this website? So we go on to the first box, the first option. So you can see the different courses that are listed here. So this particular course is a little bit more unique. So the first is in theory, and then the second is practical. So what is the practical aspect? The practical aspect is the punch card activity that you have been doing to track your progress. So this the term for me for True Buddha Tantra 1T, this is the one that is the theory part. So this is similar to the past True Buddha School online university courses. So there are assignments to submit for this, written assignments to submit. And then for the True Buddha Tantra 1P that you see on the bottom, this is the practical part. So before you submit your before you can submit your assignment, you have to press the green button as shown earlier. So you can see the True Buddha Tantra, the tier 1T for theory has been selected. And then you have to do the same for the practical course also. So means you have for TBV101, you have to press the green button. And then TBV102, you can press also the green button. So how do you know if you have registered for a course already? So how do we know? So this is how you can check that you have registered for a course. So from this screen, you can check that you can see that you have registered for these TBV102 and TBV101, which are the practical and aspect courses for the True Buddha Tantra course. So how do we submit our theory, our written homework? So you can press on the green button as shown earlier. So you can see 6 chapters. And today we have just completed chapter 1. So you have to submit a report and then you can click on. So let's say if I want to submit a assignment for chapter 1. So we click on the green button. That is just translated the details of the assignment. So for each chapter, after you have clicked, you can see the different lessons in the chapter. So whatever you have learned from the class, you are, for example, for today's class, we can select one. You can select as what DA Lianyi did just now. So yeah, you can. There are 3 options. So if you are able to log in, you can just directly type into the text box your takeaways from the lesson. So for example, yeah, so you can just type as is shown on the screen right now. So what we have learned today, etc. Alternatively, you can also upload your report as a PDF file. So this is so around 500 words will be okay. So you can also share some experiences over here. So so as mentioned, if you don't instead of typing in the text box directly, you can also first type your report or your reflection or your assignment in a Word file. Then you upload the Word file to the online university website. So just wanted to ask, is there anyone here who does not know how to input characters on the laptop or the computer? So please do not be shy. Just put it in the chat box so we can know and provide you assistance. So
Google Speech 的话，电话的这一个语音是一个方法，可以来这个输入这文字。
So if you do not know how to type words in the laptop or computer, you can also use Google Speech, meaning you can just speak to your phone and it will convert it into text for you. Or alternatively, you can also use the handwriting tool on your phone. So instead of typing with characters on the keyboard, you can also write use the handwriting function on your keyboard to write. So after you have either typed in the text box or uploaded your PDF or Word file, you can just upload. You can just press the blue button and that says upload your assignment. So as you can use, yep. So DA Xiu Yuan, I think you can use the handwriting tool on your phone, so it will be able to convert it to text on the laptop for you.
Yeah, actually, if we cannot write in Chinese, is there any way we can join this class?
Yes, of course you can. In fact, I'm very encouraged you to join this If you couldn't write in Chinese, yes, you are encouraged to write in English. Okay, so that yes, we do.
The question is if
Thank you.
is it okay to submit your reflections or homework in English? So yes, it is perfectly okay. You are encouraged to submit.
The system currently now is in Chinese. Yeah, we are in the mid of preparation in getting a ready Indonesian version of the website. Just need to just need to give some patience. Yeah, when it's ready, yeah, we give everyone some info. Inform everyone that it's ready. Okay.
Yep. So regardless if you are unable to type in Chinese or you do not know Chinese, you can still submit your assignments in English. So after you have submitted, you can see that it's reflected in the last row.
那么一个要注意的是，无论你有一个心得报告或者是多的话，您都得选择一个代表作。怎么选代表作呢？就是点这一个，从这个非代表作点。
So regardless of how many reflections or assignments you submit, right? You have to select one that is one for each chapter. So you can submit assignments for all 4 lessons, but only one can be representative of that chapter. So yep, so it's kind of you can only have one representative work for each chapter. So you can submit as many reflections as you want, but for each chapter you can only have one representative work.
这个是一个例子。那大家输入了文字之后呢，或者是上传 PDF 或者是 Word 就可以上传你的资料了。好，就是在这里呢，大家也是必须选一个代表作，就是。
So here, similarly, you have to select one. So from all the assignments that you have submitted, you can only select one as your representative work for each chapter. So one chapter can only have one representative work. Representative assignment.
应该是没问题的，都可以的。那其实如果你不参加课程，
So the question is, is it possible to only join the practical course and not the theory course? So yes, it is still possible. So you can still go ahead to just join the practical class. Sorry, the practical course.
请问每章只要选一节，填入心得就可以了吗？对的，是的，连成是可以的。
So another question is, for every chapter, we just have to select one lesson from every chapter to submit an assignment. That is enough, correct? So yes. So in total for this course, we have 6 chapters. So there is only 6 assignments that you need to submit.
好，待会我会与大家分享一下我们如何在这个网上输入打卡的功课，而且相信大家都在各群组了。那如果是您在群组
So for the punch card activity, how can we track our progress online on the website? So afterwards, Lianyi, 助教 will share with us how to. So you can either track your progress for the punch card activity on the different group chats, or you can do it on the TBS Online University website.
我们就回到课程清单。好，这里呢有一个期末作业，那我相信这个就是我们每一年都必须得做的这个视频的报告。那这个先别担心，大家
So the last row actually is
6章的这个心得报告，等接近下一半年
is the end of term homework. So I think eventually will be a video submission. So not to worry about this. Let us just focus on the first 6 chapters, the homework for the assignment for the first six chapters before we move on to the end of term assignment.
回到作业角胶，选择真佛密法一批，再点击这个作业明细，这个就是我们的打卡的部分了。打卡部分呢，我们
So I see the question. The punch card practice activity is for the practical course. So the theory is a written assignment that you have to submit on the website.
那我给大家看看一下。
So this is how you track.
跟我们刚刚这个理论课的交作业是一样的。那我们是该如何填什么资料呢？那我们再看看一下题表。
So this is the practical part that is going that the Lianyi 助教 is sharing with us now.
输入文字 PDF 好吗？那我们该输入什么？
So similarly, you can either enter it into the text box or you can upload a PDF or Word form.
或者是 C。那如果是你
So this is for the practical course. This is the punch card activity.
你打卡的是什么？
So you can just simply give a brief description of your punch card activity. So on the system, right, this represents one whole entire week of activity, also of punch card.
13号开始到19号的这个打卡的功课。
Means you have to. So for this one.
13号2023到2月19日。
Yeah, so you have to enter kind of your entries weekly.
2023
The punch card activity, you have to do it. You have to enter, make weekly in entry. So you can say you can write which category that you are doing the punch card activity for. So if it's the option A, option B, or option C. So if you are changing from option A to option B, you can also indicate as such in this text box. So on here you will be inputting your weekly punch card activity here. So similarly, you can also upload a PDF document or Word document.
请问我们一个星期的全部都填上去，还是每天的部分填上去就可以？
那如果是说您是固定打卡 A 的，你比方说你只需要写一个打卡就好了，就好像这样，好像比如说比方说我每一天都是打卡 A， 我只需要写我打卡 A 就好了。那如果是说您有每天都换不一样的，我前面2天是 A， 第3天是 B， 大概几天是 A， 那
So in a week, if you are doing in a week, you are, let's say for Monday you are doing option A, Monday and Tuesday you are doing option A, then Wednesday, Thursday you are doing option B, then you can reflect as such. So you can you can split out your entries as DA Lianyi is showing right now. So it is up to you how detailed you want your entry to be. No worries. Yeah, it's just that this entry will have to account for everything you have done in a week because they are not able to. I don't think the system can support daily entry. Yep. So you can just continuously come in here every day to make to edit the same entry and to add on.
如果是他没有打卡的，要不要写上去啊？
他没有打卡，比如说他当天没打卡吗？
他一个星期，比如说是每一天打嘛，可能这中一天他没有打卡。
With the system, you can do so. To your question, YC Chiu, on the system you can do your own aggregation weekly.
其实这个是个人的记录。那可以说，其实实修都是 每天都要做的嘛，所以我们就可以每一个星期都进来输入。所以呢，这里看有3节，就是说我们每一节都必须交功课，跟理论有稍微不一样。
So there is 3 parts.
但对于实修呢，您每一节都必须得输入。好，我再看一下有没有任何问题啦。
助教不好意思打扰一下哈，我是修剪助教哈，我之前已经了3个 subject 的那个理论那边哦，它有 TVB one TVB 在那边有3个 subject 的理论500个字那些，对吗？然后我打卡的我不会弄了，以为也是流浪有。
修轩助教，您的线有点断，有点卡，你的声音我没听到很清楚。
刚才你讲那个先作业交啊，因为它有2个嘛，一个是1，一个是2嘛，2是在下面那边的那对吗？我每一次交那个理论500个字的，在下面那个对吗？
在下面，好，我们再回去。
OK，
我们再回去好吗？
可以。
对，在下面这里。
我已经交了3个 subject， 在第一课那边我已经交了3个 subject。
好。
然后今天的还没有交了，因为还没有做嘛。然后刚才你讲还有一个打卡的是在那个上面那个 TV1 的那个是吗？
对了。
那个我们就要 click 回到那个清单，还是在哪里打？这个然后
好，
对，
好，就这里呢，我们有2个，就是这个就是打卡，一批 practical 就是打卡。
So you can see on the screen, 1P is for the theory part, and then 1T is for the theory. So for the punch card activity, it is under 1P, the practical part. So then you press the green button to enter in your punch card activity. Then you can see 6 chapters, and each chapter there is 3 segments. So you can press on the green button which says submit to submit your punch card activity. So this is where you enter whether you have done option A, B, and C or C.
如果是我们是提交是1个星期1次，还是怎样子计算？
好，这样就看就以自己的个人时间了。
So whether you want to do it daily or weekly is up to you. So you can see the highlighted part, right? It is for you enter 1 entire week of punch card into that 第一节, the first section. So you can also keep coming in daily and then to enter to input the details. Yep. So it's up to you. You can kind of do the inputting of the details into the system at your own pace. You can either do it weekly or monthly. It's up to you, but but the cultivation, the punch card activity has to be done daily itself. I hope that is clear enough.
你完成了这个真佛密法实修功课呢，就会有1个学分。
还有我想问一下，如果我是不会用那个汉语拼音，我每一次我的手写那个handwriting 手写了，在电话那边手写 submit 的所以考试的时候可以用电话写 submit 吗？
可以的，没问题。
OK， 这样子就可以了。OK， 这样子谢谢你哈。
好，谢谢。
OK， thank you so much.
好。
So the question was whether we can still use handwriting during I think the handwriting tool during exam. So yes, we can still it is still okay to use that.
So the answer is for practical course 时间。OK， 所以立禅不打卡，怎样进入？打卡怎样进入？ 好，立禅师姐好像刚刚有解释的，只要你是登录的学员，在这里点这个叫作业缴交，打卡部分就是这一个了。再点这个。
So this is just a repeat of what was shared earlier on how to input your punch card activity, the track record. Yep. So if you have any queries, just leave them in the chat box. I think DA Lian will be able to answer them. So I will stop translating.
大家都可以在群组打卡，因为那是我们一个互相激励的一个环境。如果大家在里面一起打卡，就可以激励大家一起交功课了。那同时大家可以静悄悄的。
So you're also
好。So YCQ 问 ，Do we do our own aggregation monthly or yearly? So the answer for you is that for each chapter and each class, okay, one chapter basically represent 1 week homework. So basically you need to aggregate on your own for weekly homework and submit it here. Okay, so it depends on your own time. You can choose to aggregate it monthly. So one month we have about 4 weeks. Yeah, so you will need to come in to submit your 4 weeks homework in the system. Okay. 好，还有 when we are doing one recitation each of root guru yoga and Vajrasana practices. Is this considered as automatically fulfilling High King Sutra as well? 这个问题我有点不太明白。可能有人可以帮忙翻译一下吗 ？YCQ 的这个问题。有3，我先 skip 一下 YCQ， 看有人可以帮忙翻译一下这个问题好吗？那么再看一下立禅师姐的，就只有3次3个星期吗？有3节，就是每一节打卡1个月还是3个月？好，我们这里总共有实修里面我们有6章，好吗？所以每一章都有3节，大家都可以看1到3、4到6、7到9，直到18。所以呢，这个其实总共有18个星期的功课 ，18 weeks of practice homework。那我们其实这里要自己上来交18个星期的功课就可以了。所以其实说呢，这里第1节我已经教了，我再教第2节的功课好吗？就比如说从19号2月2023到什么时候呢？26号2月2023打卡 A 就可以了。所以呢，每一个星期都进来打卡，都进来交这个打卡功课，并且每一个都得交。那这个我就简单的打卡 A 一个例子，就这样交，好吗？因为实修是每天功课，所以每一节都得交。那其实到这里呢，当我每一个星期都交之后呢，它的概念和我们理论课都一样，每一章都要选一个代表作。那其实你选其中一个就可以了。为什么选代表作呢？其实这个是给我们后台可以颁发给这个评分的这个功能，所以大家有选代表作呢，后台就很容易的给这个分数了。那就请大家务必要记得选代表作，其中一个就可以了，好吗？好，那就当这个第1节已经教完之后呢，第1章我们可以再进入第2章，也同样的每一个都可以进来打卡，代表1个星期的功课，好吗？ 希望大家到这里都可以明白。那只要您登录呢，其实有一个特权，就是说，当你来这一个学生选课的部分，尤其是这个理论课呢，你可以按这个学习的按钮。那大家可以在这边点一下，就可以下载这个教材了。这里有一点慢。这个下载这个教材都是以 PDF 文档为准。那大家可以选，我们有2个选择，简体或者是繁体。那您可以自己进来这里下载。好吗？好，刚刚看有这个翻译了。刚刚 YCQ 的问题，当我们实修一坛，根本上是相应法和金刚心菩萨法，是否自动算也完成了念诵高王经功课，还是我们需要分开来完成高王经的念诵功课呢？联合上师有在可以回答这个问题吗？有吗？上师有在吗？
有在，应该是分开比较好的，好吗？听得到吗？
好，听到。
So you have to separately, yeah.
好，谢谢上师的回答。好，谢谢 YCQ 的问答。好，那关于缴交作业的部分呢？应该是到此为止。大家还有什么问题吗？那如果您还有任何问题的话呢，我们每一个的打卡群组都有辅导员都在里面。那只要去叮咛一下他们，他们都会很乐意帮忙大家的。好，还有立禅师姐问：若是第1章第6节，星期六打卡，分3节计2个星期上1次吗？第1章第6节星期六打卡。第1章第6节，师姐您是说，因为打卡部分只有3节哦，打卡的部分只有3节，1章只有3节，那就是代表3个星期的功课了。那6个星期的功课呢，就是要完成2章的实修功课，好吗？好，立禅师姐已经明白了。那大家还有什么问题吗？好，等大家1，等大家2，等大家3，等大家4，等大家5。好，没有问题了，大功告成。谢谢大家的时间。
谢谢丽叶助教，谢谢。
谢谢。
谢谢丽安周家辛苦了，讲解的非常好，这么详尽。
棒棒棒！
谢谢大家，拜拜。
拜拜，谢谢。